In this video, I will explain how to rationalize the denominator. So I have 4 examples for us to work through here. Let's check out the first one. We have 5 over the square root of 3. So to rationalize the denominator, all that means is that we want to get rid of this radical sign in the denominator. That's all it means. So for this example, how can we get rid of this square root of 3? Well, the easiest way to do so is just to multiply by itself. So multiply by the square root of 3. So if we multiply the denominator by the square root of 3, we also have to multiply the numerator by the square root of 3. So we can rewrite this as 5 times the square root of 3 all over the square root of 3 times itself, the square root of 3. So the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is just 3. So we're left with 5 times the square root of 3 over 3. And that's our final answer. So we have rationalized the denominator. There's no longer a radical in the denominator. Let's take a look at the next example. We have 30 over the square root of 10. So once again, how can we get rid of this radical sign? How can we get rid of the square root of 10? Well, we can just multiply it by itself. So we can write 30 times the square root of 10 over the square root of 10 times the square root of 10. Because when we multiply the square root of 10 times the square root of 10, that's just 10. So we're left with 30 times the square root of 10 over 10. And now we can further simplify this by saying, okay, well, what is 30 divided by 10? Well, that's just 3. So we can rewrite this as 3 over 3 times the square root of 10. So that's our final answer on this one. All right, let's take a look at the third example. We have 2 divided by 3 plus the square root of 5. Now this one's a little trickier, but we can use a trick called multiplying by the conjugate. And what that means is to get rid of this radical, we can multiply 3 plus the square root of 5 by the conjugate, which is 3 minus the square root of 5. And here's why this works. If we have 3 plus the square root of 5, and we multiply it by 3 minus the square root of 5, we would get 3 times 3, that's 9. 3 times negative square root of 5 would be minus 3 square root of 5. And then we do square root of 5 times 3, so we would get plus 3 times the square root of 5. And then we would get a positive square root of 5 times negative square root of 5, that's negative 5. So when we do this, notice that these two middle terms would just cancel out. We would be left with a 9 minus 5 in the denominator. So in the numerator, we have the conjugate that we multiplied by, that was 3 minus the square root of 5. 3 minus the square root of 5. And in the denominator, we're just left with 9 minus 5, which is 4. Now notice that we can simplify this 2 and this 4 by writing how many times does 2 go into 4? 2. So we'll cross that out, convert that to a 2. So our final answer is going to be 3 minus the square root of 5 over 2. That is our final answer on that one. So let's take a look at our last example. We have 2 over the square root of 2 plus the square root of 7. So once again, to rationalize the denominator, we can multiply this denominator by the conjugate. So that's whatever this first number is minus whatever this second number is. So we would get square root of 2 plus square root of 7. We're going to multiply that by the conjugate, which is square root of 2 minus square root of 7. And when we do that, we get square root of 2 times square root of 2 is just 2. Square root of 2 times negative square root of 7 is negative 2, 7. And then we have plus square root of 7 times square root of 2 plus square root of 7 square root of 2. And then we have square root of 7 times the negative square root of 7, which is just negative 7. So once again, these middle terms cancel out. That's the whole reason that we multiply by the conjugate, because it has this nice effect. And we're left with a 2 minus 7. So that's going to be a negative 5. in the denominator. So recall the numerator, we also have to multiply by the conjugate. So the numerator, we have 2 times the square root of 2 minus square root of 7. So remember, we multiplied the denominator by this square root of 2 minus square root of 7. So we also have to multiply the numerator by square root of 2 minus square root of 7. And recall in the denominator, we said we get 2 minus 7, that's negative 5. And that will be our final answer on this one. There's nothing we can do to simplify it further. So that is how we rationalize the denominator. Thanks for watching.